The Hollywood Beats take on TV. I'm Tandy Culpepper.
And I'm Lisa Johnson Mandell.
And Lisa, today we are beginning to take a look at some of the, let's say, favorites to garner Emmy nominations. Are we not?
That's right. We're looking at the favorite Emmy contenders right now because the Emmys they're not going to be presented until September 14th. But Hollywood is all abuzz with FYC for your consideration things, sending it out, sending all sorts of tchotchkes from the show. And so already people are ranking who has the best chance of being nominated and who has the best chance of getting best actor and actress and comedy
Handicapping
and
them as they
drama.
were, as they were.
Absolutely, absolutely. They're already doing this, and it's a lot of fun for me. So we're going to help to get you viewers ready for for the Emmys. You'll have time to watch all the best shows before they air in September.
It hasn't quite started yet, but it becomes very annoying. And I must say, it is a distraction from driving when along Sunset Boulevard there are all these billboards looming on either side of the road that go for your consideration. And then when you come back in the other direction, it's the other side going for your consideration. And it's the same thing leading up to the Oscar nominations as
Yes.
well. But so far, we haven't seen those for Critics' Choice or Golden Globes. But it's just a matter of time before they catch on that they need to do the same thing.
Well, they've got a little bit of time because those happen in January, but the Emmys, they're coming up in September. And I don't want to say coming right up, but soon enough. And you know why? Here's a little bit of interesting trivia. You know why the billboards on Sunset are all FYC billboards?
No,
It's because Netflix owns all those billboards on
no.
Sunset. Yes, they do.
Now,
And so,
okay, I have to ask, from
yes,
where did you come up with that
that piece
bit
of
of
trivia.
trivia?
From years of living in Hollywood, I don't know. You'll notice that all the shows and all the movies that are being promoted, they are Netflix properties.
Ah,
So they bought them all from Clear Channel. Clear Channel used to own all
exactly.
the billboards, and then Netflix bought them. And that one strategic, for like 2 miles on the Sunset Strip, Netflix owns them all.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. Well, today we're starting out with two shows, one that you and I have kind of scratched our head and asked, is this really a comedy? And the other one that is so vastly satirical that it's one of those LOL, laugh out loud things. So, what are those two shows, Lisa?
We are talking about today The Studio, which is a very insider Hollywood comedy,
It
and
most
also
certainly is.
yes, and also The Bear, which there's a lot of contention about because is it a comedy? Is it a drama? They've submitted it in the comedy category, but a lot of people are up in arms in that. It's about a promising young chef who is trained with all the greats, and he returns home to Chicago to run his greedy little family sandwich shop after his brother dies. Now, Carmy is his name. He finds himself having to balance the soul-crushing realities of small business ownership, his strong-willed and recalcitrant kitchen staff, and his strained familial relationships, and all this while grappling with the impact of his brother's suicide. That's why he has it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's critics have lauded it for its tension and its high wire act, and the craziness that goes on and the internecine machinations of what it takes to get food from the kitchen to the table. I don't particularly like seeing how the sausage gets made.
You don't
But
like to see what
people,
goes on in the
yeah,
kitchen?
people in the industry have said it's a pretty accurate portrayal. But before we go any further, let's play the trailer for The Bear.
People go to restaurants to be taken care of, to relax, to not have to think about anything else for a minute.
That clock is telling you how much money we have left. When that shows zero, this restaurant needs to cease operations.
Okay, buongiorno tutti.
It's hard and it's brutal, and that's what makes it special.
I'm fired up, ready to go. I'm saying.
Showtime! Chat!
I get it, chaos and turmoil, but it's a problem when you're letting it fuel you and fuel the food.
We need to not miss, guys.
The offerings were
Substantially different on each visit.
Consistency seems to be the weak link here.
Just breathe.
What are your thoughts on The Bear as it now is coming back for its fourth season? We're doing this, we should clarify by saying that we're doing this a month before the fourth season drops on June 25th. So we're about 4 weeks out. But what are your thoughts about how the program has progressed in its first three seasons?
Yeah. Now, the third season is going to be the one that's going to be up for an Emmy this year because I think the cutoff date is May 29th. So the fourth season is not going to be considered. A lot of people, including myself, were a little disappointed with the third season because, the first and second season, they won all sorts of Emmys and it was the super hot show and it was really doing well. And then
36 nominations, 21 wins.
incredible for Jeremy Allen White, who plays Carmy. You remember him from Shameless. People will remember him as the older
Yes.
brother on Shameless. And then,
And may I add this that I just learned? Bruce Springsteen has been in the news because of his political stances of late. And I just read that Jeremy Allen White will be playing Bruce Springsteen in a project coming out later this year. So that was something that I found very interesting because I thought, well, do I imagine Bruce Springsteen and Jeremy Allen White? Well, that's what makes an actor an actor. So there you go. But I interrupted you.
no, that's
Please go
that's a
ahead.
great point to put out because we saw him in Shameless and he was just sort of the older brother, that's it. But you could tell he had a depth there. And then once he got this role in The Bear, he just took off with it. He was
And
just
Calvin
amazing.
Klein. He was all over the Calvin Klein ads for a while.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. In his undies.
Yes.
Which I didn't mind seeing. I'll, be honest with you. So, anyway, yeah, he's really come on and he really has solid acting chops. So I think he was a really fun choice for Bruce Springsteen. And I think he's won two Emmys now for playing Carmy in The Bear. And then the one who plays his cousin, Ibn Mas Bakrak, who in the second season we really heard his story, and then Ayo Edebiri, who plays his
She is
assistant chef,
amazing.
and she's won an Emmy for that too,
The
and a
three
Golden
of them
Globe.
won
Yes,
Emmys. And here's something that I found interesting. The first season won 10 Emmys, which was a record for a comedy series going into that season. And then it beat its own record the following year with 11 wins until it ran into a buzzsaw called Hacks and Ted
yes,
Lasso.
yes.
So it's a what do you call it? Something of riches. We
Oh,
have
an embarrassment of riches.
an embarrassment of riches.
Yes, yes.
Exactly, exactly. So this series is the first time I saw it, I was very uncomfortable. It had my heart racing, and I wanted to, as one reviewer I read said, he got into 3 episodes and he had to quit watching it for a while because he had to come down because he found it too tense and anxiety inducing. What do
Yes.
you think about that?
Absolutely. It's tense. The way those people go at each other. I mean, there's a lot of family there, they're cousins and people, uncles and people with familial relationships. And we've got, isn't it Jamie Lee Curtis who's playing his
Oh
mom?
my gosh, has
Mom,
she been busy of late? And I
boy,
had
hasn't
no
she?
idea that she would become such a fantastic character actress. But yes, she does play his mom on, I can't remember her character's name, but she does play the mother on this.
Yeah,
And I was so impressed because the range of this woman is incredible.
it's amazing. I don't know if you saw The Last Showgirl, the movie The Last Showgirl in that. Oh, she was just sublime. But
And also the Everything Everywhere All at
all at
Once.
once, yes, up for an Academy Award for that.
And
Yeah.
and that she should have gotten an award, an Emmy Award for that Oscar acceptance speech. It was amazing, amazing.
Maybe she'll get an Emmy for that. I don't know.
So what do you think the strengths are about the bear?
Well, the strengths are also its weaknesses. I mean, it is intense. They are going at each other all the time, just saying things to each other that you'd think would completely destroy their relationships. It's always tense. And this kitchen atmosphere is so extreme as well. And you talk to professional chefs, and they say, yes, it's like that back there. I mean, it is just, they're talking about, okay, that's good, but it needs 7 more seconds under the heat. You know what I mean? 7 more seconds. It's just incredible. And these are gritty people. These are not cultured, refined people. These are neighborhood people, and they just let each other have it. So it really is intense. And I don't laugh a lot during that. And this is what I think season 3 brought to a head. This is the big controversy. Is this a comedy or is it a drama? I personally, sometimes they're so over the top, rude and angry that it gets kind of funny. You have to laugh or you'll cry. But it's really, I find it far more of a drama. And it doesn't have the conventional, you don't have the comedic timing in this. That you have to have dramatic timing in The Bear, but there's no, there are no jokes, really. There are
No,
no
and there's no
quips.
laugh track and there's no pa-dum bump. And
No.
this Hacks and Ted Lasso are more dramatic than comedies used to be. But this one pushes the envelope where it comes to having more drama than comedy. There are moments where you laugh at the characters and the interplay, like when Tina pretends not to understand English. They're reluctant to change. They have done things one way for so long. And John Bernal is that
Barenthal.
Barenthal, who plays Michael in Flashback, the brother that committed suicide. I don't want to give too much away. If surely people have caught on to the first 3 seasons, but if not, if you haven't been watching The Bear, what the hell is wrong with you? It is such good television. It took me, as I said, a while to get into it because it is anxiety inducing. But once you get up to speed, it's like being watching a tennis match with the ball going over. No, it's even more frenetic than that. It's like ping pong.
Yeah.
It's just zip, 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 zip. And I I just these characters are also all such finely tuned, well wrought, well written that you fall in love with them even when they're driving you crazy. And Oliver Platt, oh, he steals every scene
Doesn't he
he's
just?
in. He plays the quote unquote uncle, and Richie is the quote unquote cousin, but you kind of feel like these are family by choice. I I just find the ingredients all right there for your enjoyment. It's like being served up a Happy Meal, but with a twist. And this is what's so interesting about this. When Jeremy Allen White's character, Carmy, comes in to take over the sandwich shop after his brother's death, he brings with him all this experience in hot cuisine, if that's the right terminology for it, because he's trained in all of these restaurants under these um, Michelin starred chefs. And he comes in and takes over this hole in the wall sandwich shop and begins to tweak the menu. And he makes everybody in there call each other chef.
Yes,
So,
chef.
yes, chef. And so they begin to think of themselves in more exalted, what's the word I'm looking for?
He elevates them.
It elevates them, elevates. Thank you very much. So I just find it a very compelling series with compelling characters. Each season has gotten where you know you're invested in them, you know them all so much better. You begin to think of them as the characters they are, and not as if you're watching a television show that it's as if you're a member of the kitchen staff and the whole evolution of it going from the beef to the bear. And by the way, I have not been able to figure out why the series is called The Bear. I know that the restaurant became where it gradually became known as The Bear instead of the beef, but help me out here. Do you have any idea where the bear, the
Yeah,
title, comes from?
their last name is something like Baronzino or whatever.
Oh,
And the
Barizzato.
Berzatto, that's it, right. So it's partially from their last name. And then I believe that Michael, the brother who bequeathed the sandwich shop to Carmy, I think they called him the bear.
Oh,
And so Carmy is sort of coming into his shoes, and he's becoming the bear now in the family. And he takes the cuisine from just these Chicago beef sandwiches to really elevated fine dining with some funding from the uncle, played by Oliver Platt. And so the whole third season is about opening this restaurant and trying to get it down just, to perfection. And really, those food glamour shots that they show are just amazing. They make me so hungry when I watch it, and they make me appreciate my fine dining experiences a lot more, knowing what chefs go through to get it like that on the plate. So interesting, and the way they wait on people, and the way they take care of their staff, and the way they take care of their clientele. It's just fascinating to me. So if you've ever eaten in a restaurant, I think you're going to like this show.
I hope so, because you could have the other reaction to it's like when you have that plate of food brought to you, and then you imagine what kind of absolute frenzied machinations take place in the kitchen to get that to you. I loved when all the cutlery was dropped on the floor.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and then the episode where Richie gets locked in the
In the
cold
freezer.
store. Yes, that.
On opening night of the new Bear restaurant. Oh my gosh. And that plays a big part in this thing. And he, sort of symbolic of he froze It's his big
Yes,
night.
yes, yeah.
And he froze. And
And
they said,
no one knew where he was.
No. And they all said, just leave him in there because he has given us so much spellcast. We got to we got to get him out of there.
Exactly. Okay. Any further thoughts?
Boy, I think we're going to talk about the next one is about another intense work situation. So let's go on to the studio. You want to play the trailer right now?
Matt, I get it. You want to make great art and make $1 billion doing it. Well, guess what? That never happens, and you're going to screw everything up trying to make it happen.
If it was up to me, we'd be focusing on making the next Rosemary's Baby or Annie Hall or some great film that wasn't directed by a pervert.
Turns out perverts make great movies.
They really do.
Well, lay low, okay? There's zero margin for error on this shot. Action, please.
Greta, yo, I actually want to talk to you about awards season. Just make sure to keep your winter clear. We have
Okay, Matt.
This job is just so much harder than I thought it was going to be.
Matt!
What up, Matt? Everyone wants something from me, and I can't give it to them.
If you guys are actually open to doing something different, I have a lot of ideas.
We love new ideas.
Just not too new, because we got a pretty tight formula that we got to hit.
I wouldn't say it's a formula so much as a structure that we 100% know works, so we're going to do it over and over again.
So, Lisa, what's the premise of the studio?
Yeah, this is Matt Remick, who's played by Seth Rogen. He's the newly appointed head of Continental Studios, fictitious studio in Hollywood, present day, and he's desperate for celebrity approval and for public approval. He is just an approval sponge. And he and his executive team at the movie studio have to juggle corporate demands with creative ambitions as they try to keep movies alive and relevant. He wants to do artsy movies, and the executives above him want him to do money-making crap, basically. And he's just trying to balance it all the time.
Truth, isn't it?
Yeah. And this one is so interesting, very near and dear to you, Andy, because your brother was a studio executive for many, many years.
That's
so I
right.
would love to sit in the room with you guys watching the studio, because I'm sure you have so much unique perspective on it.
Well, the thing about this show is that it's played for laughs and it says it's a satire, but so many of the things that take place in there are so true.
Are they spot on?
Oh, spot on. I mean, they are ridiculous. But let's go down and talk about a couple of the other people who are in the series that people will recognize as having their own unique comedic talents. One of them is Catherine O'Hara, who was in Schitt's Creek, and she plays the former studio head who becomes the mentor of Matt, played by Seth Rogen. Kathryn Hahn plays the chief marketing officer, and
boy, is she salty too.
She
My
is.
Gosh.
I mean, talk crazy, and the clothes she wears are kind of out of this world. There is one thing that I wanted to talk about is the episode called The Note, which involves, oh, help me out here, Richie Cunningham, Ron Howard, who has a movie that is 3 hours long, and there's a portion of the movie that takes place, is it the motel sequence?
Yes.
And it's self-indulgent according to all of these characters who are running the studio, and everybody thinks that Ron Howard should be told that this whole section needs to be cut because the movie's 3 hours long, and no one wants to be the person who tells him that. And so we get this comedy of errors going on. And describe how all that plays out, if you will.
Oh, it's so funny because everyone just worships Ron Howard and nobody wants to get on his bad side. And you're thinking, oh, come on, he was Richie Cunningham. He's going to be a really nice guy. And he's playing himself in this show, which
Yes,
is
he
so
is.
funny. And once the word finally drops that they really need to cut that everybody is, that it's not a masterpiece, it's just self-indulgent and it needs to go. Boy, he just lets loose. He explodes with, oh my gosh. And you think, not Richie Cunningham. He's known for being one of the nicest guys in Hollywood. And you can tell he had just a ball playing that scene.
But what makes him explode, or what makes Matt, Seth Rogen's character, finally tell him that the scene needs to go is when Ron humiliates him in front of all his subordinates. And so that's when he explodes and says that. And it's just hysterical. Now, I'm going to tell you what that entire fracas and situation, with the film being 3 hours long and people thinking, oh, come on, this is over the top. There's no way something like this could happen. Au contraire. Back in 1998, Terrence Malick came back from retirement after 20 years of not making a movie and decided to make a film called The Thin Red Line. Do you remember that?
I remember that film. That was actually a decent film.
It was an amazing film. But here's the thing. When he came back, everybody wanted to be part of this project. I mean, there were some people that said, Sean Penn said, give me $1 and tell me when to show up. They wanted to be part of this film. And like George Clooney, John Travolta, Sean Penn, there were all these people involved in it. As I said, I've got a list. Oh, here it is. Of some of the people: Paul Dano, Martin Scorsese, Charlize Theron, Steve Buscemi, Anthony Mackie, Olivia Wilde, Ron Howard. Wait, I'm reading the wrong list. That goes.
You're reading a list of people who are on
yeah.
studio, playing themselves.
I'm going to do an edit there. So anyway, in this episode called The Note with Ron Howard, it made me flash back, as I said, to The Thin Red Line and the fact that all of these actors wanted to be part of it. Now, here's why it's not so over the top and satirical. It's very realistic here, because when Terrence turned in his screenplay, it was 300 pages.
Oh my gosh. And how long is a screenplay normally?
Let's see, if it's 120 pages, one page is supposed to be equal to a minute.
Yeah. So usually they're between 90 and 120.
Yes. 300 pages.
Insanity.
But it gets crazier. When he did his first edit of the film, it was not 3 hours long. Are you ready for this? 5 hours long.
Holy crepe.
Until I got involved in reporting on the industry, and even more so, as you said, by having my brother be a studio head, I became more aware of what goes on behind the scenes. And it's crazy. And all of that plays out in the studio. And it's been renewed for a second season.
Thank heavens. It's on Apple TV Plus, by the way, and they get away
Thank
with
you for that.
yeah.
I forgot that.
They do huge numbers on this thing. I mean, the sets must have cost them just millions of dollars. I mean, the building is supposed to be where their offices are supposed to be a Frank Lloyd Wright building, and they've really mimicked all the great interior design features of him too. And I mean, all the stars that they get to be in it. That scene with Olivia Wilde when she and Seth Rogen are rolling down the hill, they're chasing each other for a reel of film because
Oh,
nobody
that
shoots
was
on film anymore. That
hysterical.
was so funny. And it's so intense. They talk so quickly. And a lot of people are going to lose a lot of the references to different studios. They're always talking about A24 films and, as
Right.
indies and all that. But boy, you can learn a lot about the filmmaking industry. And Seth Rogen has a character. He is so funny. I think, this is my prediction, you've heard it right now. I think he's going to be the one who wins an Emmy for Best Comedic Actor because he's so neurotic and he is so needy and he's always going to say just the wrong thing at just the right time. And it just makes it so funny. You sit there watching, saying, no, no, don't say it. Okay, just end it right now. And they're only half an hour episodes, but they seem much longer because they're
It
so
seems
rich
they
with so
packed
much
so
detail.
much into that half hour. It's crazy.
Absolutely. And it's just, I mean, so many people are in there, big stars that you see in there, and they're having the time of their life playing themselves as real jerks,
Yes,
you know?
yes. And one person who was a background actor, which we previously referred to as extras, asked the question, is this too inside baseball for people to get it? But I don't think that's the point. You don't have to know what the real machinations are to think that this is a very funny uh, show because the price of admission is nothing except to have a subscription
Subscription.
to Apple, as you said. And Seth Rogen's character, he is so insecure. And so he so insinuates himself into situations where he says, "Oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that." But he does it every time.
He does it. You
And
know he's gonna go there. One of the things about the studio is that it shows everybody it's Hollywood parodying itself. And all the things that you just talked about, they're making fun of all of them about, too many superhero movies and too many movies based on products that are popular. And it's so amusing. And even if you
Barbie,
yeah, exactly. And
but
the
wait, it
Kool-Aid
made a
Man is the
billion
big one in here.
dollars. You
Yes,
can't fault it.
exactly.
It made $1 billion.
Exactly. And I happen to like Barbie very much. But anyway, this is the glory of the studio. Even if you don't know all the background machinations in Hollywood, you're going to learn about them. You're going to enjoy them. You're going to see they're making fun of themselves and what the stunts they have to pull just to make sure that it's not racially overbalanced one way or the other. And it's just so funny. All the fears that producers have that go behind making a movie that's ever going to appeal to everybody and not going to get them in trouble. It's insane, but it's so on point. It's so accurate. And this is why I think it's going to get a lot of awards. Hollywood loves movies about Hollywood, loves them, and also it it spares no one. It skewers everyone, and it's so fun for us as viewers to see Hollywood making fun of itself because we do a lot of it on our own. And anyway, this is I think it's going to get a lot of awards, and I think it's totally worthy.
It reminds me of a hairdresser who became the head of a studio. John Peters, was he Barbra Streisand's hairdresser?
Oh yeah, and many Hollywood greats,
How
hairdressers.
the hell did that happen?
Good question. But he was not unsuccessful.
No, but if you were to say that, if you were to write a script where for instance, on the studio, if you were to say, let's have a hairdresser become the head of a competing studio, nobody would buy it, but it actually happened. And I, they were saying, tell us your stories. The people behind the studio were, and this was this not created by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg?
Yes.
Okay, so they kept saying, tell us your stories. Well, one story that they should perhaps fold into a script is if they took a hairdresser and made him a movie producer, or well, another situation that this brings to mind, George Miller, who produced the first Mad Max movie with Mel Gibson. He was a doctor, he was a physician, and he decided he wanted to be a movie producer. These are the crazy, true to life stories that happen in Hollywood that the studio skewers. And it's people at home watching this think, oh, this is funny. This could never happen. Newsflash, it does, and it has.
All the time. You know, there's something I want to warn viewers about though in this. It's it's pretty blue, which is kind of an old-timey way to say the language is bad. I mean, and some of the situations are really naughty, shall we say.
Not as bad as mid-century modern, but
well, no, but
right
pretty
up there.
pretty bad. I mean, some of the things they yell at each other, you blank blank blank, or take my blank and blank with it, and that kind of stuff. It's pretty bad. And if you took a shot every time someone used the F word, you'd be on the floor about the first 5 minutes of each episode. I mean, it's pretty blue. So you just gotta kind of roll with the punches, because once again, that's how it is in Hollywood.
Do you have anything further to add about the studio?
It's one that you're not going to want to binge probably, because it's a very heavy meal, so to speak, and you don't want to watch 3 or 4 of those in a row, because
Sort of like The Bear in that
Yeah,
regard, but
yeah.
not quite as frenzied.
One of them's intense in a funny way, and the other is just intense in a personal relationship way. So yeah, they're both very intense. Studio, much funnier than The Bear, but The Bear has its merits as well. So these are two, they're going to be huge contenders in the Emmys coming up.
All right, without further ado, I'm Tandy Culpepper.
And I'm Lisa Johnson Mandell, and we'll see you in front of your screen.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us on the Hollywood Beat.